Hi, my name is Mrs. J. Burton. I'm a teacher at Sutter Middle School, and I'm attending Cal State University Northridge, working on my Master's of Science Education. And one of our assignments is to interview certain individuals to inquire about their concept of what is living. Let's just start by with your name and where you're from and how old you are, your age.
I'm Andy. I'm from North Carolina, near the Charlotte area, and I'm 30.
Thank you. Well, let's just go on with the question here. When you hear the word living, what does that mean to you?
It means something that's alive.
And what do you mean by alive? What's the criteria for being alive?
It's not being dead. It's generally like a plant or an animal.
Okay.
Something that's going to something that like grows.
Well, when you hear the word non-living, what does that mean to you?
That's something that's not alive, like a rock or dirt, a chair.
And what would be the criteria that you use to determine if it's non-living?
It doesn't grow or change.
All right. So again, would you clarify the criteria that you use when you are trying to decide whether something is living or non-living?
It's something that if it's living, it's gonna grow. It's gonna have it's gonna eat. It's gonna excrete itself. It's going to change usually over the course of its lifespan, and usually make more of itself in some form or another.
And how would you classify the following things? A car?
Non-living.
And the reason?
It doesn't really, well, I guess it does consume fuel, but it doesn't grow or reproduce or anything.
Okay. What about a skin cell?
A skin cell, when attached to a human being, is living, but it doesn't, in and of itself, it's not really necessarily capable of sustaining itself. So it's not if it's just one skin cell in a petri dish, it's not necessarily alive, I don't suppose, at that point. It's been taken off of the entire organism.
What about a molecule?
A molecule's non-living.
Okay. And your reason?
It doesn't grow. It doesn't reproduce itself. It can change if certain conditions are met, but it doesn't. Those are like chemical reactions. It's an outside influence.
What about a dog?
A dog is living.
And what was the criteria that you would use to determine that it's a living organism or a living thing?
It moves, it grows, it changes over the course of its lifespan, and it's able to reproduce.
How about a fire?
A fire is not living.
Okay. And what was the determining factor?
A fire is more of a chemical reaction. It's not something that it doesn't think. It can sort of reproduce itself because the heat causes more fire, but it doesn't. But it's not alive because it's not a organism of any type. It's just a reaction.
Okay. And a pencil?
A pencil was living, but when it's a pencil, it's no longer living.
Okay. How about a banana on a tree?
A banana on a tree is living. It's part of the entire organism.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, it's part of the banana tree, which is able to grow, and the banana is the way that it reproduces.
What about a baby?
A baby is living.
And what were the criteria that you used to make that determination?
It's basically a smaller form of a human, so it has all the same characteristics as a person.
Okay. And a manarian?
I'm sorry, what was that?
A manarian?
And what is a manarian?
A manarian?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, if you're not quite sure what that is, we'll just move on. We'll just put that as not sure. What about fungi?
They are living.
And what was the criteria for classifying it as a fungi?
Well, classifying it as living or classifying it as a fungi?
Living.
It's living. It's able to grow and reproduce, and it has certain food that it consumes.
Okay. And a protist?
A protist, that's like a bacteria. It's alive because it can reproduce, grow, consume.
And plants?
Plants are alive, like the banana tree.
Okay. Fish?
Fish are alive.
And what criteria have you established for using or saying that it's living?
It eats, it reproduces, it grows.
And amphibians?
They're alive.
All right. And the same criteria as it was for the fish and others that you. Okay. How about reptiles?
Reptiles, yes. Same as amphibians, fish.
And a bird?
Same, part of the plant and animal kingdoms.
Okay. And what about mammals?
Yes, they're alive.
Okay. And would you restate what you have suggested that is the criteria for living organisms or living things?
A living organism it generally grows and changes over its life cycle. It's able to reproduce. It consumes some type of nourishment, and also, excretes any waste products from itself.
Okay. And what would you say are other examples, at least two examples of living things?
Living things, specifically or in general, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
You have like parakeets and cats, I suppose.
And non-living things?
Tables, refrigerators.
Okay. And what would be the reason why you would say a refrigerator is non-living?
It's not able to reproduce in any fashion on its own. It's not able to grow.
All right. Well, that ends the questions that I have of you, and I really want to thank you for your time and effort and your input on this matter. And do you have anything else you would like to say about living or non-living at this time, or?
That's all.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and I really appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.